psychologists teach you and share knowledge on how you can look after your mental health with regards to saving the environment at the same time. So with mental health, every single person in this room gets ill every single year. Like, you probably get ill 5 times a year. Flu, cold, stomach ache, stomach bug. And believe it or not, your mental health, you will be ill in the same way 5 times a year, maybe even more. So it's really important that you take care of your mental health. And I'm just going to go through one of the models that we use and how to do that. So I have to go through this a little bit quickly, but if you've got any questions, just come to me after. So CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive means mind, and behavior is your behavior. So your thinking impacts how you behave. And with those who face eco-anxiety, they have a negative view on themselves. They think that they're not doing enough. They think that they're worthless because they're not doing enough. And then they also have a negative view on the world. So they believe that the world will come to an end. No matter what we do as a society, as a community, the world is still going to come to an end. And then also a negative view about other people. So it's not about other people, it's about what other people think of us. So you might think that you're being judged by other people in society, that other people think, oh, she's not using a bamboo toothbrush, or oh, she took a plane. But the thing is, in reality, no one's perfect. Any step you take in tackling climate change, in tackling all the effects in the world, is enough. Like, even if you use a bamboo toothbrush and that's it, that's enough. Because every single person, if every single person in this room takes action, that it's going to summate, it's going to come together, and it's going to create impact. So the model basically looks at early experiences. So it was actually found in a research study that young children and adolescents face eco-anxiety more than older adults. And the reason being is because we've grown up with climate change activism. We've grown up with more awareness about climate change. Inevitably, when you look at these adverts, when you look at the newspaper articles, when you look at the TV, you look at the media, you look at social media campaigns, you're going to feel like you're responsible, but you're not. Like, you are the generation that will create change. There's also younger individuals, so children and adolescents, may have lived through earthquakes, tsunamis, flooding, natural disasters, and honestly, that can really impact how you feel. Now, this leads into your core beliefs. Your core beliefs are, I am not enough, I am not doing enough to save the environment. And all these early experiences and these negative core beliefs that you might have, they might play into an activating event. What we mean by an activating event is, for example, you're traveling by plane to come to this project, and you're on that plane thinking, why am I on this plane? I am the sole reason why climate change is getting worse. Why did I do this? I'm not good enough. And it leads into negative emotions. So feeling sad, feeling guilt, feeling ashamed. And those emotions will go into your bodily sensations. So you might be on this plane, you might have a fast heart rate, you might feel breathless, you might feel like a panic attack is about to come. And that leads onto your behavior. So it might start a panic attack, these negative thoughts, these core beliefs, your early experiences. And it also can impact how you discuss climate change. So you're with your friends and you're trying to raise awareness, but even while raising awareness, you're saying phrases like, I really care about the environment, but I feel like I'm not doing enough. And that phrase, I feel like I'm not doing enough, that is self-criticism. And you have to be really aware that even though you're criticizing yourself, you need to realize there's only so much you can do. Even if you're doing one step, that is enough. So what do we do with a service user that might present with eco-anxiety? So there are a few steps. The first step is acknowledging your early experiences. So, you faced a natural disaster when you were younger. You need to realize that natural disasters are really traumatizing. That is classified as a traumatic event. And no matter how old a traumatic event is, it's never too late to address it. It's never too late to reflect. This traumatic event may have happened 50 years ago, and it's not too late. You can still address it 50 years later. And it's actually really important to address it. It's also really important to validate your own feelings. So what validation is saying, I feel sad, and it's okay to feel sad. I feel anxious, and it's okay to feel anxious. When someone's crying, the best step is not to go, don't cry. The best step is to go, how are you feeling? What's making you feel upset? What's making you feel sad? Because that's validating. It's okay to feel emotions. And we live in very different societies over here. So in some societies, it's more common to have validation. But in some societies, mental health is really new. And it's really important to share this knowledge that it's okay to have a bad day. Now, your activating event, traveling by plane. You may have even taken an eco-friendly option. But again, there are some people who, despite taking or in spite of taking an eco-friendly option, still feel really bad, and that's okay. Now, when you have these negative cognitions, so you're thinking, I'm the reason why climate change is getting worse, I'm a bad person because I've taken this flight, it's really important to question yourself. And these questions are really important. So first of all, question yourself. Say to yourself, how true is this statement? I am making climate change worse. Think about how else you could have used transport. So for example, we're coming from England and we've taken a plane. And maybe coach was a better option, but how likely was it that we would take a coach? How easy was it for us to take a coach? Maybe we have certain health conditions which meant traveling for those long periods of time, it's not possible. But taking a plane acknowledges that, okay, it's a 4-hour flight versus, I don't know, a 15-hour coach. I'm not feeling well, I'm not in the best health. I need, the times in which you're taking the coach, it may have not been convenient. So you need to acknowledge that, okay, I took a plane here, but also it wasn't in my power to take a coach. And that's okay. There's a reason why planes exist, guys. It might not be environmentally friendly, but it's for those who perhaps couldn't have taken that 15-hour coach. Sometimes coach times are really bad as well. You have to wake up 3 a.m. in the morning, and then you have to change in Brussels at 5 a.m. You're waiting for 2 hours at pit stop station. You haven't slept. It's really inconvenient. And also for those who haven't travelled, you're on a coach, you have several different stops. If you haven't travelled before, you're visiting 5 different countries in the space of one journey, that could make you nervous, that could make you not feel okay. Also, think about how much you've already given back to the world. Think of what you do to tackle climate change. I use a bamboo toothbrush. I don't know, go for walks and instead of taking the local transport in my country. I'm not saying that I do any of these things, by the way. These are just examples. But acknowledge what you've achieved so far. Maybe that one action, yes, it wasn't environmentally friendly, but it was convenient. And also, paired with everything else that you do, you're also saving the world. Now, bodily sensations, this one's really important because this one is more in the moment. So you're having that panic attack. And what can you do? So we say to service users, use grounding techniques. One grounding technique is thinking of a number, preferably a number that ends in 7, because it's actually quite hard to do this activity. So for example, think of the number 47. Okay, 47. And what were you thinking of that number?
That's a big number.
Oh.
That's my old home.
Yeah.
Oh.
Me and Brenda used to
Number
live in
47.
Oh my god.
So think of the number 47. and count backwards in threes. So 44, 41. And the thing is, you don't land on the same number when you start with a number that ends in 7. So when you count backwards in threes, because your mind is no longer excessively thinking about you being on this plane, you not being environmentally friendly, it helps you drift. It helps you think about something else. You're now doing a new task. There's another grounding technique. So taking your shoes off on the plane, putting your feet on the ground. I mean, if you're short like me, sometimes you have to wiggle forward. Wiggle forward. Sometimes you have to wiggle forward, and then your feet touch the ground. And what I want you to do is I want you to relax every single part of your body. So you might want to pair this up with the 47 and count backwards in threes if you can't take your mind off what you're ruminating on. So put your feet on the ground and then try to relax every single part of your body, starting from your feet. Yeah, do that while I talk through the next activity. And then there's the third grounding technique, and this is my favorite. In the history of my panic attacks, let me tell you, this method has not failed me. So this is the breathe 4-7-8 technique. You breathe in for 4, so yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it.
Let's start again a second.
Yeah. Okay, breathe in for 4, she's continuing.
1, 2, 3, 4. Stay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, so it's 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and let out for 8. There's science behind this one. So the science is when you're having a panic attack, it's your bodily sensation of that heartbeat that's racing, and also the breathlessness that is really kind of making your panic attack worse. You're at a position where you can't breathe, so your body is also in flight or fight. Like you're like, wow, I can't survive. And having that 4-7-8 technique, it slows down your heart rate. It's a natural beta blocker, if you know that. So that's medication that slows down your heart rate. Sorry. So definitely, if you don't take anything else from this session, 4-7-8. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and let out for 8. And the last thing is, do not be ashamed. Let the cabin crew know. Let whoever is in your vicinity know. You might be scared. You might be like, oh, they don't care about me. Who cares if they don't care about you? You've got another person by your side. You're in this very vulnerable moment, and I can understand it's difficult to share a vulnerable moment with another person. But if you feel like you're overwhelmed by not breathing, it's okay to reach out to another person, just having another person there, just in case it gets worse. And also understand the biology behind eco-anxiety. We're humans, but we're inevitably animals. So if you believe in evolution, which I do, we come from a line of animals, right? And having flight or fight, flight is, running away. And fighting is tackling that problem, right? And what makes us go into flight or fight is hormones. And it's a hormone called cortisol. Now, when someone goes into a state of eco-anxiety, it's cortisol that's being released. You're very stressed. And originally, that was designed to make us save the planet. Having that stress and caring about something is making us have that bamboo toothpaste. It's making us walk instead of taking the bus for a 5-minute, drive. And when it becomes maladaptive, so when that anxiety becomes something that's really bad for your body, that's when you go into a state of eco-anxiety. But if you manage your anxiety and you have a little bit of anxiety, so you're just a little bit stressed and you're just like, you're becoming more aware, so you're inquisitive, ask people questions, what more can I do? But you're not in a state of breathlessness, you're not in a state of constant worry. That is what's helping you save the environment. So it's just about managing your mental health. Nothing is ever wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
There's an activity that we were going to do if we don't have time, but you can maybe do it on your phones after this activity as a reflection and write down all of the things that you do already, not the things you don't do, and then speak it out loud, and then it becomes real. So even if you just attending this session is the only thing you've ever done to combat climate change, write it down and say, I attended that session.
Just one thing, if you feel upset by this session, please come and see me, because it's a very difficult session and I can appreciate that people feel upset.